Today, we're unpacking a moment that's got everyone talking, CNN's Kaitlan taking on former President Donald Trump at a NATO press conference in The Hague on June 25, 2025. The headlines scream, Kaitlan dresses down Trump to his face for anti-military smear, and social media is ablaze with reactions. This wasn't just a reporter asking a question, it was a clash of narratives, a defense of journalistic integrity, and a spotlight on America's military pride. Over the next 5 parts, we'll analyze what happened, why it matters, and how it's trending among Americans. So, grab your coffee and let's get started. The setting was the NATO Summit, a high-stakes gathering where global leaders discussed security in the wake of U.S. military strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities. Trump, attending despite his past criticisms of NATO, used the press conference to lash out at media outlets, including CNN, for reporting that the strikes didn't fully destroy Iran's nuclear capabilities. When Kaitlan, CNN's chief White House correspondent, tried to ask a question, Trump went on the offensive, calling CNN fake news and implying their coverage disrespected American soldiers. Collins didn't back down. "I think everyone appreciates our soldiers and our warriors," she shot back, a direct rebuke that's now trending across platforms like X with hashtags like #IslandWithKaitlan and #YouGoGirl. Why does this moment resonate with American viewers? First, it's about respect for the military, a core value for many of us. Trump's comments, as reported by Yahoo News and Newsbreak, seemed to cast doubt on the effectiveness of the U.S. strikes, which some interpreted as undermining the troops who carried them out. Collins' response wasn't just about defending CNN. It was about standing up for the men and women in uniform. Posts on X, like one from @Stream25Bill, highlight Trump's jab at CNN followed by his praise for soldiers, showing how he tried to pivot. But Collins' clapback stole the spotlight, framing her as a journalist who wouldn't let a powerful figure rewrite the narrative. This exchange also taps into a broader American sentiment, frustration with divisive rhetoric. In 2025, with political tensions high post-election, viewers are tired of leaders dodging accountability. Collins' willingness to confront Trump head-on feels like a win for those who want straight talk. On X, users like @MonicaSloves and @CherylMessenger shared links to the Daily Beast's coverage, praising Collins for her boldness. Yet, not everyone's on board. Some Trump supporters argue she was disrespectful, a point we'll explore later. For now, let's set the stage: a reporter, a former president, and a debate about military honor in a global spotlight. This is more than a soundbite. It's a microcosm of America's values, media's role, and the power of speaking truth to power. For Americans, the military is more than an institution, it's a symbol of sacrifice and pride. From small-town Veterans Day parades to NFL flyovers, honoring service members is woven into our culture. Trump's comments at the NATO press conference, as reported by Yahoo News, implied that CNN's coverage of the Iran strikes, based on a U.S. intelligence assessment that the strikes didn't fully destroy Iran's nuclear sites, somehow disrespected the troops. This struck a nerve. Posts on X, like one from @MSWZ, praise Collins for standing firm, noting that Trump's attacks often target strong women who challenge him. The sentiment is clear: undermining the military's efforts, even indirectly, is a third rail in American politics. Collins' response was strategic. By emphasizing that everyone appreciates our soldiers, she flipped the script, aligning herself with a universal American value. This wasn't just about CNN's reporting. It was about ensuring the military's efforts weren't politicized. The Daily Beast's coverage, shared widely on X by users like @MonicaSloves, frames her as a journalist who refused to let Trump's narrative slide. Meanwhile, Trump supporters, as seen in outlets like the Gateway Pundit, argue he was defending the troops by insisting the strikes were a total obliteration, citing his claim that Israel's report confirmed this. This divide, between those who see Collins as a patriot and those who view Trump as the military's champion, mirrors America's polarized landscape. The military angle also ties to broader 2025 trends. With U.S. strikes on Iran dominating headlines, Americans are hyper-focused on national security. NPR notes that Trump faced intense questioning at the summit about the strike's effectiveness, amplifying the stakes of his comments. For viewers, Collins' stand feels like a push for transparency at a time when trust in leadership is shaky. X users like @road_trip highlight her as a strong, smart woman who didn't buckle under Trump's bullying, reflecting a growing demand for accountability. This moment isn't just about one exchange. It's about who gets to define patriotism. Collins' words remind us that honoring the military means respecting the truth, not just the optics. The media landscape in 2025 is a battleground of trust and credibility. CNN, often labeled left-leaning by critics, has been under fire from Trump and his supporters for years. At the NATO press conference, Trump called CNN fake news for reporting based on a U.S. intelligence assessment that the recent strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities didn't fully succeed. Collins' sharp response, "I think everyone appreciates our soldiers and our warriors," wasn't just a personal stand, it was a defense of journalistic integrity. As the Daily Beast reported, shared widely on X by users like @CherylMessenger, her comeback positioned CNN as a network unwilling to let accusations slide. This resonates with viewers who value accountability, especially when military honor is at stake. On X, the reaction is split but passionate. Hashtags like #Isn't with Kaitlan trend among those who see Collins as a truth-teller, with posts from users like @Stream25Bill praising her for not backing down. Conversely, Trump's base, amplified by outlets like the Gateway Pundit, argues CNN's reporting undermines the military by questioning the strike's success. A post from @road_Trippin captures the divide. Kaitlan did her job, but Trump's right, CNN spins everything. This polarization reflects a broader American struggle: who controls the narrative. For many viewers, Collins' moment is a win for journalists fighting to report facts in the face of powerful pushback. CNN's broader coverage of the Iran strikes adds context. Yahoo News notes that CNN cited intelligence sources to highlight gaps in the strike's outcomes, a move that sparked Trump's ire but aligns with public demand for transparency post-election. Americans, weary from years of political spin, want unfiltered reporting, especially on issues like national security. Collins, as CNN's face in this moment, embodies that demand. Her exchange with Trump, replayed across platforms like Newsbreak, has made her a symbol of resilience, particularly for women in media. Ex-users like @MSWZ call her a role model, noting how she navigated Trump's attacks with poise. Yet, the media's role isn't without scrutiny. Some Americans, as seen in X posts, question whether CNN's framing fuels division rather than unity. This tension between informing and polarizing defines the 2025 media landscape. Collins' stand, while celebrated, underscores the tightrope journalists walk. In a media landscape often dominated by male voices, Kaitlan Collins, at 33, stands out as a trailblazer. Her confrontation with Trump, calling out his claim that CNN's reporting on the U.S. strikes against Iran disrespected the military, wasn't just about journalism, it was a bold act of defiance against a figure known for aggressive rhetoric. On X, users like @MSWZ and @MonicaSloves have hailed her as a strong, smart woman, with posts emphasizing how she held her ground under pressure. This sentiment, echoed in Yahoo News and the Daily Beast, taps into a broader American admiration for women who challenge power. Think Kamala Harris or Taylor Swift, who faced similar scrutiny yet thrived. Gender dynamics play a big role here. Trump's attacks on female journalists, from Megyn Kelly to April Ryan, are well documented. His fake news jab at CNN, paired with dismissing Collins' question, fits this pattern. But Collins didn't flinch. Her poised, direct response, defending both her reporting and the military, struck a chord with viewers who see her as a symbol of resilience. X posts like @CherylMessengers share clips of the exchange, with captions like "Kaitlan's not here for the nonsense." For American women, especially younger ones, this moment is empowering in a 2025 landscape where gender equality remains a hot-button issue post-election. The broader context matters too. Newsbreak reports that Collins' exchange went viral partly because it highlighted a female journalist refusing to be sidelined. In an era where women in media face online harassment, Amnesty International notes 1 in 5 female journalists face gendered abuse. Collins' stand feels like a pushback against that toxicity. American viewers, particularly women, relate to this. On X, #Isn't with Kaitlan trends alongside comments praising her as a role model for aspiring journalists. Yet, some Trump supporters, as seen in the Gateway Pundit, argue she was disrespectful, revealing a gendered double standard. Male reporters rarely face the same critique for tough questions. This moment also reflects 2025's cultural shift. With women leading in politics, entertainment, and media, Collins' defiance resonates with Americans cheering for female empowerment. Her youth adds another layer, representing a generation unafraid to challenge entrenched power. This exchange wasn't just a press conference spat. It was a snapshot of America in 2025. At its core, it's about truth, accountability, and respect for the military, for journalists, and for each other. Collins' defense of CNN's reporting on the U.S. strikes against Iran's nuclear facilities as covered by Yahoo News challenged Trump's narrative that the strikes were an unqualified success. Her stand resonated because it reflected a quintessentially American value, the pursuit of truth even when it's inconvenient. On X, hashtags like #IstandWithKaitlan and posts from users like @Stream25Bill show viewers craving leaders, whether journalists or politicians who prioritize facts over spin. The military angle, as we discussed, hits deep. Americans revere service members, and Trump's implication that CNN's reporting undermined them sparked outrage. Collins' response, praised by the Daily Beast and shared by @MonicaSloves, reaffirmed that honoring the military means acknowledging their efforts honestly, not papering over strategic gaps. This matters in a post-election America grappling with national security concerns. NPR's coverage of the NATO summit underscores public demand for clarity on the Iran strikes, making Collins' push for transparency a stand-in for what many viewers want from their institutions. Gender and media dynamics, as we explored, add another layer. Collins, a young woman facing down a former president, embodied resilience in a country where women's voices are increasingly central. X-users like @MSWZ call her a trailblazer, reflecting 2025's cultural shift toward empowerment. Yet, the backlash from some Trump supporters, seen in the Gateway Pundit, highlights the polarization that defines our era. This divide between those who see Collins as a patriot and those who view her as antagonistic mirrors debates about free speech, media bias, and who gets to shape America's story. Looking forward, this moment signals a turning point. Americans are tired of divisive rhetoric, as Newsbreak reports show, and Collins' courage points to a future where accountability trumps posturing. Her clash with Trump isn't just about one day in The Hague. It's about whether we value truth-telling, respect for service, and the strength to challenge power. As we navigate 2025's challenges, from global tensions to domestic divides, this moment reminds us that our values are worth fighting for.